Greetings, welcome to the Prime Directive. I'm your host, Jefficho, and my co-host, always, Chris. Say hi, Chris.
Hello.
So, Prodigy, episode 3, what you think?
Episode 3, which is kind of episode 2. This one, I was okay. This was actually more setup than I felt the first one was.
Yeah.
This one felt more like a getting to know you, set up the adventure than was the first episode.
I felt this slowed down a lot to explain stuff to the actual children that are watching.
Probably, yes.
What's the Federation? What do they do? Where are we?
I kind of like, the idea of how we explain the Federation to someone who's never heard of it. How are we presenting ourselves? We like, the little history lesson, and there's, hollow Spocks doing things. I'm like, hey, it's...
What we do is we go around and get a group of assholes, but we try to strive towards not being assholes. That's the Federation.
That's a noble goal.
Yeah.
That's a noble goal.
The United Federation of Planets. An interstellar union of different worlds and species, with shared principles of universal liberty, rights, and equality.
Yeah, we got a lot more Janeway in this.
Yep.
She drank hollow coffee, Chris.
It had to be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw the captain's quarters. I was like, oh, Archer would be jealous of that shit.
Yeah, right?
It's like, I can't move my legs, but I gotta get over to my bed. Oh, it's right there.
So I guess most of this episode that we're going to be interested in is just exploring the Protostar and what the heck was going on. Like, what's this ship do? What's it capable of?
I did ask to see more of the ship last time.
You did see more of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Slug Boy, I'm suspicious of Slug Boy. I don't remember what his name is.
He's a good boy. Murph.
Murph is a good boy. He's figured out how to fire phasers, and he knows where Starboard is. Like, he is more than just a pet. There is a thinking Slug Boy going on there.
Murph, you've settled in. I look forward to sharing this experience with you. From over here.
It's like a dog, but knows what he's doing, like Hair Bud. Play basketball.
Yes! There's no rule in the Federation handbook that says a dog can't be an officer.
Hey, we saw Tendy's dog. The dog was smart.
Yes, that was slightly terrifying, but yes.
Yeah, so I guess the whole premise of this episode was there was a star, a dying star, and they decided to fly into it, and Dallas is like, shut up, hologram Janeway. Captain Hologram.
He's a little bit... He's obnoxious.
He is a street rat.
Right. Yeah.
He is Aladdin. He is Ezra from Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah. He needs to chill out a bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, none of them are old enough to be captains. I really do expect at some point that Del and Gwen are going to be co-captains, or first officer, second officer. But like, they're going to have to work together because neither of them right now should be captain.
Where's your captain?
Right here. I am the captain.
Lord, forgive her. She's delirious. I'm in command of this ship.
This could be sort of like the Maquis thing done better, where Chakotay was the Maquis leader and Janeway is first officer, with them working together. Because as much as that could have been an interesting thing for Voyager, he just kind of was it never mattered past the first couple episodes.
Yeah, nothing Maquis mattered after the first few episodes. I wonder if that's actually how they'll bring Chakotay in as a hologram. Be like, hey, maybe you need a different perspective.
Yeah.
And you'll get hologram Chakotay, who just happened to record a hologram version of himself. Yeah, I guess holo emitters are all around the ship because she showed up in the mess too. I knew that the little kid was gonna order the prison food. I was just like, yeah, it's the only food they know.
Yeah, which was actually very sad. There are still some dark themes in this.
Yes.
Like, we're still back at the little kitty. Like, we have the little kitty being a slave miner.
Yeah. Save that little kitty from whatever terrible child things that they were talking about.
Yeah.
But went to slavery.
Yeah.
I think inside Gwen is a good person, and that will eventually come out. Right now, she has to learn and see her father for what he is, and then she'll be torn. That'll be the season 1 cliffhanger,
and it'll be like, how culpable is she for what was going on? Yeah, she was doing all these things, but it's the only thing she's ever really known.
Yeah.
What is the status of the riots?
We have regained control of the Unwanted with minimal losses.
Minimum!
So basically, her dad was in a Bacta tank, Now he's got his Darth Vader armor on.
Yeah, the Star Wars similarities continue.
And he jumps in his transformer, which is similar to Nero's ship because it's from a mining place.
It's pointy.
Yeah.
And it cloaks.
And it cloaks.
Yeah.
And he's off to go find them.
I think he should just warp right into that star and die, and then it's just over.
I do like there are some good jokes or whatever in this one where it's just like,
didn't we just do this? Oh, that's right, but last time I was in there and you were out here. Wait, is this soundproof? Can she hear us?
You're an imbecile.
Well, there's your answer.
Yeah, there were actually a couple of good laughs.
And then the "Can you read my mind now?" closes the door. That's a good thing to have, having a Medusan that can always read your mind, so it's just like you can say something.
Yeah,
but he needs to be a little less
goes.
obnoxious for that to be a good joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he could say something at one point and then think the other, and then they know what to do.
Yeah, they can do
combination.
some planning, some deception.
Yeah. What else you got for me, Chris?
Let's see, what else did we do?
We saw a Crossfield class.
You didn't even
ship.
let me yeah, we saw a Discovery looking thing,
which
we could bitch about because the Discovery is super secret. Nobody is allowed to know about it.
And both Crossfield class ships that we saw were they were designed to do the spore jumping.
Yeah, to muck around with the spore jump.
And that's supposed to be forgotten. And illegal.
that's been scrubbed from the records. That's crime.
But the people that are running Star Trek right now, are not aware of their own canon.
I mean, we don't know for a fact that those were the only Crossfield class ships.
I feel like it was. Well, they said it was designed for a spore jump, so I assume there were two.
We don't know.
Sister ship
for sure. I think that's a. You
Chris,
could assume that.
If you were a real dedicated Star Trek fan, you'd have season 1 of Discovery, and you would watch it 4 times by now, and you would remember that there was just there's only 2.
So I guess you're not a real dedicated Star Trek fan because I know you haven't watched Disco more than you have to.
Really? Then why am I stating for a fact that there's 2?
Okay. You know what? Let's figure that out. Let's
me.
put a screen up right here and see what happens. But yes, they need to cross promote their show because even if there are more,
I saw a hologram of a different ship. I'm gonna go watch Discovery now.
Right? Even if there are more than 2, there's no way that third ship is significant enough to be included with the Enterprise and the Defiant and shit. Here's a random ass science ship from 200 years ago. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. We see the ship can do printing, big industrial scale 3D printing of shuttles, which must have been something Voyager had because they went through 5,000 of those things.
I figured they just had a really good engineer besides Bolena. Tom built one from scratch. He's just like, oh shit, we're almost out of them. I better build one.
Yeah, and it even had cool controls and stuff. Whoa.
2 warp cores.
2 warp cores and a bonus third thing, which we don't know what it is. I assume that's going to be the transwarp drive because we saw a transwarp button on a console in the previous episode.
Yeah, and I think we read that there was transwarp.
Yeah.
I guess 2 warp drives or warp cores are good for ejecting one.
Is this redundant or is this a nod to
the amount of times the warp core has been ejected? You probably need a dozen.
I guess.
Especially if you're Voyager.
Maybe if you plug one warp core into another warp core, it'll go twice as fast.
Did they always just eject the warp core and go back and get it? Because Voyager, once it's done, they don't have warp anymore.
That's true. I've always wanted an answer to that because that's happened in most shows where we eject the warp core. And are you just chilling, or because it explodes half the time? What is a warp core, and am I reassembling one? Am I pulling one out of storage?
If you can make something in the holodeck, I guess you could make something in real life, and there's obviously a replicator thing that you can do that.
I assume as long as you had the dilithium, which can't be replicated, which you would have a storage of that. I guess you could just build a new containment thing.
They slingshotted around a star and didn't go back in time, Chris.
That's because they weren't warping.
Well, Yeah, full impulse. Well, I mean, it's hard to tell because the animated ship just made it look like it was going to warp, but
also,
it wasn't.
We don't know they didn't go back in time. I mean, I'm 100% confident that they did not, but that hasn't been addressed.
You're just trying to argue now.
That has not been addressed.
Hey, why did they fire phasers at the
sun?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
to spread the heat out.
Yeah, right. It was neat when they were fighting. Like, it was cool when they were firing phasers through the asteroids and stuff. But there's just like this, white hot plasma thing, and they shoot different hot plasma at it, and it's like, sure, it's for kids.
Curse of being a captain, I guess.
I can still read your mind.
How about now?
Cool. Well, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I thought, this one was a little slower than the first one. The main kid was kind of a little more obnoxious or grating in this one. But I want to learn more about this ship and what its purpose is. I want to explore a little more around in the Delta Quadrant,
I want to find some, ship logs where it's just, the crew went off and explains why it got there.
Yeah.
And then also what horrible things happened to that crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that third option, don't push it, because that killed the entire crew.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? I wonder if the big bad guy is going to be, associated with the original crew somehow.
Yeah.
How long's this ship been here?
Well,
did he lose it and now he's looking for it?
Seems to know a lot about it, so...
Yeah.
Why he wants a Federation starship, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it wasn't terrible again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
Could have been a lot worse.
Watchable, guys.
Watchable.
Check it out.
Yeah. If you're really hurting for Star Trek content, give it a go. It's 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
what's up?
As always, thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.
See ya.